Hi, my name is Jim Carrillo. I'm with the Public Wi-Fi Project, and this little video will show you how to reset the routers, the wireless internet routers that is, in the Morgan Hill Community and Cultural Center. Let's start off by finding out where these routers are located. The first router is located in the custodian closet, right across from the madrone and the shadow room. In this sea of wires, you'll see that on the bottom shelf there's a blue Linksys router. This is the first of the 3 wireless internet routers. You'll notice that on the back of this router there are little antennas that stick out, and that's another way of identifying it. This router services the Machado and Madrone rooms. The second wireless system is in the Diana Murphy room. This router will service the Poppy Jasper room, Diana Murphy room, and the El Toro room. The wireless signal is strong enough to reach all the rooms. At the front of the room, if we go down, you'll see that there's a wireless router plugged into the wall. One thing I'd like to know on this wireless router, and this is useful for the tech support folks, is that this wireless router is plugged into port 36. The third wireless router is actually in the Hiram Morgan Hill room, right behind that center speaker area. But we don't have to go there to get to the router because there's a nice little access room right here. And I'll show you exactly where that router is. And you can see this plug right here is the plug for the wireless router. You'll notice it's gray and rectangular shape. Now, while I can't get to the router from here, this plug will allow me to do a power cycle onto it. That's what we'll discuss next. I'm in the Diana Murphy room, and we're going to power cycle this router right here. And power cycling is very easy. It's just a matter of turning the power on and off. There's 2 ways to power cycle the router, depending upon how easy it is to get to one side or the other. The first is to simply disconnect the power right here. You only have to count like 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, and plug it right back in. At this point, the router will reboot. Now, these particular routers have special security features in there, and it takes about a good 2 minutes for them to reboot. The other way to power cycle a router is to simply unplug the power from the wall. Count to 1, 2, 3, and plug it right back in. Now, when it comes to the wireless access point that services the Hiram Morgan Hill room, if you remember from the earlier on this video, the outlet was easy to access through the ladder and that access panel on the ceiling. And so simply just open that access panel, unplug it, and plug it back in. Well, I'm back in the janitorial closet, and you can kind of tell because I'm in a sea of wires. It'd be nice to say that recycling each of the wireless routers, like the one in the Diana Murphy room or the Hiram Morgan Hill room, would solve the problem. But the fact is that these routers are not directly connected to the internet. They're directed to other routers and then devices like a modem. So I'm going to show you those devices, and if recycling that particular wireless access point didn't solve the problem, we're going to go up the chain of command. If you can see underneath here, that's where that other wireless router is. And we actually have the Hiram Morgan Hill plugged into the back of that. So, if resetting that Hiram Morgan Hill room didn't work, we reset this one by unplugging the power and plugging it back in. That router in turn is using this yellow cable to plug up into another router. And this router is not wireless, but it's provided by the city, and I've left it in place even though it's not necessary because the city has the password for it and I don't. It's what also does the connection to the internet through the modem. I'd recycle this one too by unplugging the power and then plugging it back in. And then the final device is what's called the modem. And that is this little thing called Westel. And to recycle this, I'm going to take a walk right back towards the front. And it's a little hard to see, but there is, let's see if I can get in here to see a picture of it. It's a black cable, and it's actually a power that plugs in. You just unplug that black cable and then plug it back in, and that will recycle the modem. So those are the daisy chain devices. And I'm going to give you a hint. If you don't have time to troubleshoot, or maybe you just want to do a quick recycle on one of the routers and it doesn't work, go ahead and start at the top and go to the bottom. Start by recycling the modem, the Westel, the community center's firewall router, which is the one that's labeled DSL and not wireless, and then also the wireless router that's here in the janitorial closet. That way you've recycled everything in the chain, and if that doesn't fix the problem, then it's going to be a little bit more technical than you can solve with a simple power cycle.